Welcome back. Earlier, we said that many teachers have problems with making the teaching-testing connection. This is evident in the tests which they have constructed. Let us look at some examples. This test is supposed to be a listening test, but take note of the test format. Although the teacher delivers the text orally, it is also printed on the test booklet. The examinees will then have the opportunity to read the text. This test now becomes a reading test rather than a listening test. In a listening test, the test takers listen to a text. They should not see the text. They respond to the test items either orally, in writing, or through nonverbal means. Let us look at another example. Note that this test is labeled as a speaking test. But are the test takers required to speak? No. They write their answers to the items. Again, there is a mismatch between the language skill, speaking, and the manner in which the skill is to be demonstrated in writing. In a test of speaking, the testee has to speak. These two tests exemplify the lack of validity in the tests. The tests do not measure what they are supposed to measure. Note that in those examples, the content of the test may have been taken up in class, but the disparity between the skill and the test has resulted in a gap between the teaching and the testing. Now, there are also instances where what is tested may not have been taught. An example of which immediately comes to mind is this test. Does it look familiar? Yes, it's a test of analogy. Some teachers include tests of analogy in their summative tests, although no instruction on making analogies has been done in class. Analogy items are included simply because they are found in institutional and national examinations. In this instance, the test does not have curricular or content validity. What has been tested may not be included in the syllabus or may not have been taught at all. Another case of lack of a teaching-testing connection. There are also instances where a skill may be in the syllabus. Instruction has been undertaken, but no testing is conducted. This is very often the case with speaking. Different activities are taken up in class: group discussions, role-playing, oral reports, panel discussions, and the like. But very often, the students' speaking performances are not evaluated and graded. Why? There are at least two reasons. First, the teacher may not realize that these performances can be considered tests. Second, giving grades for a speaking performance is a tedious process. Criteria for assessment have to be drawn up. Ranges of marks will have to be decided on, and listening to a big number of students is time-consuming and wearisome. And of course, there are cases when what is taught and tested is of questionable merit. And what are these? Well, to name a few, drawing intonation lines, making phonetic or a phonemic transcription, or identifying sentence patterns. And why do we say that these exercises are of questionable worth? Primarily because these are knowledges expected of language teachers rather than language learners in the elementary and secondary levels. Thus far, we have presented to you instances of supposedly teaching-testing connections, but which have gone awry. So we go back to the question, how is a teaching-testing connection established? All right, we will tackle this question in the next portion of this episode. Meantime, let's have a station break. Stay tuned.